The Planet Express crew is back for another season of bizarre adventures. Let's recap everything from Futurama Season 13. The story continues as the team attends a party in Hell, where Bender meets Barbot, a famous actress and model. He quickly learns she prefers taller men, making him insecure about his height. His friends try to cheer him up and tell him to accept himself, but Bender instead goes to Hell to make a deal for extra height. The robot devil is now working with health insurance scams and gives Bender steroids that make him grow taller. After taking the pills, Bender enjoys life as a tall robot. He meets Barbot again, punches her boyfriend in a movie theater, and both end up at the police station. Barbot protects Bender and starts dating him. However, Barbot is attracted to anything taller than Bender. Angry, he takes all the pills at once and grows into a giant monster that threatens New York. To stop him, the crew uses a device powerful enough to awaken a sea monster. Fry and Leela enter Bender and use his manual controls to fight the creature, despite having relationship problems. They work together, defeat the beast, and save the city. The pills wear off, returning Bender to normal size, but he learns that confidence matters more than height and walks with Barbot. Later, the crew prepares for a relaxing day, but Professor Farnsworth sends them to replace the giant ice cube used to slow global warming. At the site, Fry adopts some polar bear cubs, while the professor collects climate data. The results reveal that global warming has reached a critical level, and the professor warns the public that humanity faces extinction unless pollution is reduced. Mom Scientist dismisses his claims, and nobody listens until the information is shown on a graph. The data matches climate records from the 21st century, proving people knew about the coming disaster but ignored it. Fry convinces everyone to save the planet for the animals, leading people to support the cause, although their first idea is simply to record a song. The professor proposes using volcanic ash to cool the Earth, so the crew travels to Mount Vesuvius and releases a substance inside the volcano. The eruption traps them inside, making Fry think his friends are dead, while spectators outside appear to turn to stone. Moments later, the crew escapes unharmed, and the petrified people are revealed to be covered only in ash. Back home, Fry learns that people in his own era had climate data and warnings, but ignored them because they were distracted by internet trends. Soon after, the mother polar bear arrives to take back her cubs. Later, Christmas ends, and Leela invites Fry to spend time with her family. He refuses because he is planning a surprise for the anniversary of the day they met. Before leaving, Leela asks him to take care of her plant. While preparing the surprise and buying gifts, Fry forgets about the plant. When Leela returns and finds it dead, she becomes furious, refuses to see him, and chooses Zoidberg as her new delivery partner. Wondering if they are truly soulmates, Fry finds a mirror that reveals a person's soulmate. When he uses it, he learns that although Leela is his soulmate, her soulmate appears to be a man named Branch Woodsman. Fry finds Branch in Central Park and plans to confront him, but Branch turns out to be a kind man who protects nature. Together, they fight an invasive tree species threatening the one-eyed Susan, the last plant of its kind. During the battle, the plant appears to be destroyed, ending up in the hospital. While recovering, he learns that Leela has been visiting him with Branch. When Fry meets Branch again, he discovers that the invasive tree was actually the male of the one-eyed Susan species. By protecting the plant, Fry had unknowingly prevented it from surviving. Realizing this, Fry decides to step aside and let Leela be happy with Branch. However, Leela eventually realizes that Branch is only a good friend and admits that Fry is the one she truly loves. Later, the couples have dinner and talk about their children. To entertain the Wong's oldest child, Bender listens to a mysterious number station, and Amy discovers the numbers are winning lottery numbers. Meanwhile, Fry starts painting by numbers. Amy uses his paintings to decode Bender's messages and finds a hidden blueprint, but Fry loses interest and paints a cat instead. Though untalented, Zoidberg secretly enters his art into a contest. Still afraid of numbers, Bender visits a math convention where Danica McKellar tells him not to fear them. At the same time, Amy opens a portal to a universe of living numbers. The professor stays behind while the others go to Fry's art contest. The numbers learn humans control them and try to multiply the professor by 0. He meets Georg Cantor, who reveals he sent messages to Bender through his antenna using a paper and pencil machine. Together, they send Bender another message. Remembering Danica's advice, Bender overcomes his fear and rescues the professor and Cantor. However, the numbers put them on trial. Number 1 promises freedom if they prove not all numbers exist. The professor gives a complex proof, but the numbers reject it. Bender distracts them, helping everyone escape, while Cantor leaves for an even more abstract universe. Meanwhile, Fry attends the art contest. Despite the other entries being far better, he wins second place, only to discover the contest was for animals. Later, the Planet Express parents struggle with their children, who are addicted to electronic devices. Kif suggests sending them to Zap Brannigan's camp, and everyone agrees. The children leave with Zap and Bender, while the adults enjoy their free time. The women go drinking, and the men crash into a police station because of Zoidberg's driving. On a remote planet, Zap confiscates the children's devices and puts them to work. He warns them about the Agachadita. While exploring, the children discover sunlight provides internet access and use Bender as a receiver to get their devices working again. They soon encounter the Agachadita and flee to a nearby village. The villagers hunt the creature, live simply, and see the phones as dangerous. During a solar eclipse, the village leader declares the sun is angry because of the devices and orders the children executed. Axel tries to call Kif, but the eclipse cuts off the internet. The children ask Zap for help, but his weapons and ship also fail without internet. Kif remembers Zap has a phone on another network, allowing a brief call before it breaks. Using Bender as a relay, Axel apologizes to Kif for being a bad son, and the villagers believe Kif's voice from Bender's head is magic. Just before the execution, the eclipse ends and the internet returns. The villagers become obsessed with online content. The crew escapes safely, the children are rescued, and the wives are arrested for causing trouble while drunk. Later, Zoidberg creates such a terrible smell that everyone loses their sense of smell, forcing the professor to build a machine to repair their noses. To complete it, he needs a special crystal and takes the crew to a crystal fair. There, people suddenly begin floating into the sky as if ascending to heaven. Despite this, the professor insists science must come before faith and works with the crew to spread that message. As more people float away, Hermes loses La Barbara and his son. Fearing the phenomenon, the professor locks everyone inside Planet Express while searching for a scientific explanation. Fry ties his shoelaces to Leela's so they can stay together, but Leela also begins floating into the sky. Later, Amy's family takes her away to free her from what they think is a cult, but during the ritual, they ascend as well. As more people disappear, only a few remain on Earth, and the crew starts running out of food. Unable to find an answer, the professor finally accepts it may be a miracle. At that moment, Fry is suddenly pulled into the sky by a giant hook. Fry wakes up on a spaceship with the rest of humanity. The professor discovers that space fishermen have been capturing people and uses their ship to rescue everyone, saving humanity and returning them to Earth. Later, Hermes sends his son Conrad to a camp for young bureaucrats, but Conrad admits he wants to work at a pizzeria. La Barbara supports him, and Hermes reluctantly accepts. At the same time, a politician campaigns against small family businesses and targets the alien couple's pizzeria. Blosky runs against him, but during a debate, the politician falsely claims the restaurant uses kidnapped children in its pizzas. Hermes and Conrad visit the bureaucracy department to find the restaurant's blueprints. There, bureaucracy reveals bureaucracy has no real system. He simply remembers where everything is. Meanwhile, Fry helps at the pizzeria, but his 1,000-year-old pants are destroyed in a washing machine. As protesters gather outside, Hermes finds the blueprints and discovers a hidden basement. The crew investigates and learns it is the original Panucci's Pizza, where Fry worked before being frozen. Fry finds his old locker and changes into his spare pants. The media apologizes for the false reports, and the politician drops out of the mayoral race to run for president. However, the alien owner reveals his pepperoni has been aged for 1,000 years in a secret room. Bender investigates and finds it full of dead flies on flypaper, ruining the owner's campaign and unexpectedly making Bender the election winner. Later, a meteor crashes into the Wong family's building. Amy discovers it is a valuable rock from Zoidberg's homeworld, and at a museum, a scientist explains that meteor impacts wiped out the carnosaurs and scattered pieces across the galaxy. When the crew returns home, they learn Zoidberg's dumpster has been legally rented to another family, leaving him homeless. Zoidberg asks for help, but only Fry lets him stay, and they soon grow tired of him. Later, Leela suggests Zoidberg move in with her lonely parents. To her surprise, they quickly bond with him, and even take him on family vacations, making Leela jealous. Before leaving, Zoidberg thanks them for treating him like family. Since he never had parents, they officially adopt him, making him Leela's brother. Furious, Leela says she hates their decision. Her parents wish they had abandoned her, while Zoidberg wishes he were not her brother, causing Leela to collapse. At the hospital, doctors discover Leela needs a kidney transplant. Only Zoidberg is a match. A museum scientist reveals that DNA from Zoidberg's species arrived on Earth on a meteor long ago and became part of Leela's family line. Zoidberg donates a kidney and reconciles with Leela. She finally accepts him as her brother, and they recover together at their parents'. Later, Fry and Leela go on a date, but Bender joins them at an expensive restaurant. Leela refuses the costly truffles, but Bender orders many of them. When the bill reaches tens of thousands of dollars, the robot mafia pays it, leaving Fry in debt. Wanting to get rich, Bender enters the rare truffle trade and travels to a truffle planet, where he receives a pig named Jambone that can sniff out truffles. Finding truffles proves difficult, and after selling his first one, Bender earns almost nothing due to fees. Just as he is about to quit, Jambone discovers a massive supply on a distant asteroid. They find an asteroid covered with trees and giant truffles. While gathering them, Bender discovers the remains of past hunters, and a giant plant dragon attacks and traps him. Meanwhile, the robot mafia comes to collect Fry's debt. Fry leads them to Bender, accidentally helping save him and Jambone. The mafia takes all the truffles as payment and reveals they control the entire truffle trade. Bender says goodbye to Jambone and gives him a truffle, but the pig secretly eats all the truffles and follows the crew back to Earth. At a dinner for wealthy guests, everyone learns the truffles are gone. Jambone is found overweight after eating them all and is named Glutton of the Year by Hedonism Bot. Later, a white hole appears in the sky and announces itself as a portal connecting Universe 6 to other universes. Earth is invited to send 8 representatives to witness a great event. Scientists discover that time moves much faster inside the portal, causing anyone who enters to age rapidly. They decide to send the crew in frozen hibernation for 10 million years, aboard a ship guided by an AI version of the professor. During the journey, the AI creates temporary copies of the crew to perform repairs and maintenance. The copies age quickly and turn to dust after completing their tasks. Over millions of years, the copies face many problems, including electrical failures, attacks, and a damaged window that Fry temporarily repairs with tape. Eventually, accelerated time leaks into Fry's yogurt, causing it to evolve into a life form that consumes the crew's copies. Zoidberg is awakened to eat it, but he becomes a new threat himself. After 10 million years, the AI wakes a final group of copies to awaken the original crew. The copies, believing they deserve the rewards for all their work, rebel on board the contact ship heading through the portal. Meanwhile, the original Planet Express crew returns to Earth, confused about what happened during their long journey, and is simply welcomed home and awarded medals. If you want more recaps like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know what series or movie you want to see next.